I think it's safe to say that cyclists and mountain bikers love the outdoors in general. You get to feel the wind in your hair, the dirt beneath your wheels, and bikes can take you to places that a lot of people cannot get to. But if you're not someone who already knows they love the outdoors, it is not always easy to convince yourself that you do. I don't think it's your fault. I think life just gets in the way. You get home from work, you make dinner, you help the kids with their homework, you clean up from dinner, watch a little bit of TV maybe because you gotta relax, and before you know it, you gotta go to sleep for the next day. Weekends are no better. You've got events, you got places you need to be, so it is hard to find the time to get out in nature and take like a full day to go ahead and just go out into the wilderness like you're an urban Bigfoot. So when we ask the question, is nature being taken away from you, you might not even realize that anything has been taken from you because you just haven't had the time to consider it. Well, I'm here to tell you it has been. We're here to tell you that we think getting outside and getting into nature is one of the best things you can do, not only for your physical health, but for your mental health as well. We also think that riding an e-bike is one of the best ways to get back in touch with your primitive side, to get you back outside and riding like a beast through the woods or the streets. Let's talk about how to use your e-bike to enjoy the outdoors again. So first and foremost, I want to stress that even if you're not able to get outside into this type of nature, there are still massive benefits to getting outside at all and exercising, just moving around. The American Heart Association says that even taking 30 minutes a day, 6 days a week to do moderate exercise can reduce your risk of dementia, heart disease, and diabetes, and a bunch of other stuff that you don't really want to have. So I highly recommend at least getting outside in some capacity, whether it's there or there. If you don't believe the American Heart Association, you can have a little bit of a personal story. Check out our video with Richard Freeman. He can talk to you about how an e-bike saved his life when he wasn't in the best of health. But I'm not just talking about getting exercise in the outdoors, I'm talking about enjoying the outdoors, which is where e-bikes come into play for me. Personally, Class 1 EMTBs were a massive perspective shift for me. I had always been a trail runner and I enjoyed hiking occasionally, but I was used to being in nature and then being completely exhausted at the end of the day, which isn't everybody's cup of tea, and it's not always my cup of tea either. Sometimes you just want to be outside enjoying nature as opposed to physically killing yourself on a trail. With an EMTB, I'm able to enjoy myself a little bit more, take in the scenery, grab some photography if I want to be doing it, something like that. So I really, really love that about electric mountain biking. EMTBs eventually got me into the idea of bikepacking, which I was interested in because I had done a bike tour through Scotland. I took 6 weeks. I was very lucky to get to do this. And I basically got done with that trip through the UK, and I wanted to do more bike touring. But of course, you can't always just take 6 weeks off, or most people can't, unfortunately. And that's where e-bike packing got to be a huge part of my life. Now I'm able to take on an e-bike packing bike a weekend and do 40, 50 miles easily without having to miss work on Monday. I'm always home in time to come back to work and make some more videos for you guys. E-bike packing and e-mountain bikes, they weren't really necessarily like a health thing for me. It was just a way for me to get outside and appreciate nature. And there really is no better time for people to be getting out on e-bikes in order to appreciate their surroundings and nature. I'm sure you have heard national parks are now allowing Class 1 EMTBs anywhere that bicycles are allowed. So you can use e-bikes. If you thought like, man, I always wanted to go to Yosemite, but everything's so spread apart, you can now use an e-bike within Yosemite to enjoy Yosemite Valley. Who knows, maybe you're feeling crazy. You even take it up to Tulum Meadows. You guys been to Yosemite? You should go, it's real nice. Now for all of you acoustic mountain biking purists who are sitting there just seething, just hovering over that dislike button, or even just furiously typing a mean comment to me, you're sitting there saying that e-bikes shouldn't be allowed on any trails or national parks. I want you guys to try and take a second and think about it this way. Yes, it is likely that allowing e-bikes on trails and in national parks is going to increase the usage of said trails. And that might kind of bum you out because mountain biking has traditionally been a niche sport. But what it's also going to do is get more people out into nature so that they appreciate it and they want to maintain your trails and maintain nature as well. And I think that's probably a net benefit. So yes, maybe your own private spot that you found years ago is gonna be trafficked by 1 or 2 people every now and then, but I truly think this is a net benefit in the long run. This is coming from someone who loves to just be alone when I'm in nature and I don't wanna be bothered. I think this is going to be a good thing, so try and think about it from that perspective. But if you just wanna tell me I'm wrong in the comments, fine. The takeaway is that EMTBs and electric bikes have decreased the friction for people getting outside and enjoying nature, so more people appreciate it and want to work to keep it beautiful. All right, so that's a little bit about why you should do it, but of course then there is the how. First of all, you of course want to figure out what type of riding you are going to be doing. If you're going to be mostly on pavement, maybe some gravel paths or something like that, that's obviously going to be a very different bike than if you're doing downhill EMTB, trying to get into that kind of sport. So make sure you do your research and connect with a professional so that you can figure out which type of bike is going to be best for your needs. The other thing I would recommend is, especially if you're coming to it from a completely inactive background or you haven't been on a bike in a while, don't put yourself in situations that you're going to be uncomfortable with. Start small, explore your neighborhood, then go a little bit beyond that, maybe the woods behind your neighborhood, go to the lake or something. Don't plan a 20 to 50 mile ride the first time you're going to go out. So start small, go places you know you're going to enjoy. Take a picnic, maybe to the park by your house, and then you can be out in the backcountry. That's the 2 steps. It goes picnic, and then you're camping in the backcountry, surviving in the wilderness. But in all seriousness, it's very easy to think it's an electric bike. This is going to be easy as hell. It's still riding a bike and it is still activity, so you might wear down if you're putting yourselves in a situation where nature takes its vengeance. I'd also recommend, if you can, get a group of friends or family together and see if they're all interested in grabbing e-bikes so that you guys can ride together, keep each other accountable, and enjoy it together as opposed to you just going out on your lonesome and leaving everybody else behind. If you don't have any friends, there's all sorts of great riding groups that I'll link off to below. I guess I only really know the ones for the SoCal area, but I'm sure there's some in your area as well. Of course, subscribe to YouTube channels who are doing similar things, who are exploring the world on bikes, and so you can see how they're doing it. That's kind of like what we're doing here, so maybe you should subscribe to this one. And I would say the most important thing overall is, if you are going to be someone who is just learning about how to be in nature and is exploring it again for the first time, please be respectful. Make sure you are leaving no trace. Learn how to treat Mother Nature with respect so that we can preserve it and future generations can enjoy it as well. Like this video, you guys, and subscribe to this channel. Leave a comment below. Let me know where you would be riding your new e-bike in nature. And let me know if you have any questions as well. Thanks for watching, you guys. Enjoy the ride.